those who would generate.
Those who generate.
Sthane,
Stane.
in the middle while maintaining the creation.
In the middle while maintaining the creation.
Atha,
Atta.
certainly.
Certainly.
Dharma,
Dharma.
religion.
Religion.
Maka,
Maka.
Lord Vishnu.
Lord Vishnu.
Manu,
Manu.
the father of mankind.
The father of mankind.
Amara,
Amara.
the demigods deputed to control the affairs of maintenance.
The demigods deputed to control the affairs of maintenance.
Avanisha,
Avanisha.
and the kings of different planets.
And the kings of different planets.
Ante,
Ante.
at the end.
At the end.
Tu, but. Adharma,
Adharma.
irreligion.
Irreligion.
Para,
Ara.
Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva.
Manjuvasa,
Manivasha.
subjected to anger.
Subjected to anger.
Asura Adya,
Asura.
atheist,
Atheist.
the enemies of the devotees.
The enemies of the devotees.
Maya,
Maya.
energy.
Energy.
Vibhutaya,
Vibhutaya.
powerful representatives.
Powerful representatives.
Ima,
Ma.
all of them.
All of them.
Purushakti Bhaja,
Purushakti Vaja.
of the supreme powerful Lord.
Of the supreme powerful Lord.
Translation, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. At the beginning of creation, there are penance, myself, Brahma, and the Prajapatis, the great sages who generate. Then, during the maintenance of the creation, there are Lord Vishnu, the demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets. But at the end, there is irreligion. And then Lord Shiva and the atheists full of anger, etc. All of them are different representative manifestations of the energy of the supreme power, the Lord. Please repeat. At the beginning of the creation, there are penance.
At the beginning of creation, there are penance.
Myself, Brahma,
Myself, Brahma.
and the Prajapatis,
And the Prajapatis.
the great sages who generate.
The great sages who generate.
Then, during the maintenance of the creation,
Then during the maintenance of the creation,
there are Lord Vishnu,
there are Lord Vishnu,
the demigods with controlling powers,
the demigods with controlling powers,
and the kings of different planets.
and the kings of different planets.
But at the end, there is irreligion.
But at the end there is irreligion.
And then Lord Shiva,
And then Lord Shiva,
and the atheists full of anger,
and the atheists full of anger,
etc.
etc.
All of them are different representative manifestations
All of them are different representative manifestations
of the energy of the supreme power,
of the energy of the supreme power,
the Lord.
the Lord.
Purport. Material world is created by the energy of the Lord, which is manifested in the beginning of the creation by the penance of Brahmaji, the first living being in the creation. And then there are the 9 Prajapatis, known as great sages. In the stage when the creation is maintained, there are devotional service to Lord Vishnu, or factual religion, the different demigods, and the kings of different planets who maintain the world. At last, when the creation is preparing to wind up, there is first the principle of irreligion, then Lord Shiva, along with the atheists full of anger. But all of them are but different manifestations of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahadev, Shiva are different incarnations of the different modes of material nature. Vishnu is the Lord of the mode of goodness, Brahma is the Lord of the mode of passion, and Shiva is the Lord of the mode of ignorance. Ultimately, material creation is but a temporary manifestation meant to give the chance of liberation to the conditioned souls who are entrapped in the material world. And one who develops the mode of goodness under the protection of Lord Vishnu has the greatest chance of being liberated by following the Vaishnava principles and thus be promoted to the kingdom of God, no more to return to this miserable world. Om Ajnana Tamanandasya Dhananjana Salakaya Chaksuran Manitamya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Adati Swakadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatangitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Virgina Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Harite Vanchakalpa Trubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnaveyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srimati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Read the translation one more time. At the beginning of creation, there are penance, myself, Brahma, and the Prajapatis, the great sages who generate. Then, during the maintenance of the creation, there are Lord Vishnu, demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets. But at the end, there is irreligion, and then Lord Shiva, and the atheists full of anger, etc. All of them are different representations, manifestations of the energy of the supreme power, the Lord. So, this material world is created. We know Brahma is actually a secondary creator. Lord Krishna is there with his different expansions, and Garbhodakshai Vishnu was the source of Lord Brahma. Wonderful pastime, isn't it? How the Lord creates this universe. These actually countless millions and billions of universes. Before I came in touch with the devotees, Srila Prabhupada, we, had such big knowledge of God and His greatness. God is great. Yes, they say God is great, but no one actually can give you how great God is, the explanation. And so when I first heard this description of how the creation, it's inconceivable how great God is. And every day I think we're all in awe of the greatness of God. How this whole universe, they say it's, I think the material scientists say something like over 90 billion light years in diameter. But it's inconceivable to them. A light year is, what is it? The speed of light going for a year. They say it's over 90 billion light years. So that's inconceivable. It's just this one universe, which Mahaprabhu said it's just like a mustard seed. to the Supreme Lord. So this keeps hearing the glories of the Lord will keep us in the proper state, that we're very tiny. Yeah, we know our existence is very tiny, 1/10,000th part, the tip of a hair. We're not these bodies. We're just like the sunshine. Take a molecule of the sunshine. We're very, very tiny, very, very insignificant. And the more we understand this, then we can progress nicely in Krishna consciousness. Excuse me. Prabhupada always said, "Don't be proud. Always remain humble, realizing our total insignificance. Then things go on nicely. But as soon as we become a little puffed up, then Maya is there to to blast us and to give us problems. They always remain humble servant, you'll be happy." So this description, Brahma is there, and he's coming from the lotus stem of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. When Brahma is born, when he first becomes conscious, what does he see? He doesn't see anything. It's complete black. It's complete darkness. That's why we say Om Ajnana Tamarandasya. I'm born in the darkness of ignorance. But that's everyone born in this material world, unless they're Nityasiddha devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, born into complete darkness. Brahma also could not see. So he, wonderful story is there, such detailed descriptions of the creation. How Brahma, he was looking around, he climbed down the lotus stem, came to the Garbhodak water, and then he was trying to figure where am I, what's going on? And then what did he do? He got the message from within the heart. Tene Brahma Rida, from within the heart. It says here, at the beginning of creation, there are penance. So, Sarge, Tapa. And this is what Brahma did. He underwent penance. So this is the process. And then Brahma, eventually, after many, many years in the life of Brahma doing penance, Krishna revealed himself. And then the wonderful Brahma Samhita was spoken. He got a glimpse of Goloka Vrindavan, a glimpse of the spiritual world. And we have the wonderful Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma's words, Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Cause of all causes. So, this darkness we see every morning. We see it when the sun sets and before the sun comes up. It's complete darkness. And some places on Earth, I think in the northern regions, it's dark for 6 months a year. So the Vedas say, don't remain in this darkness. You have to come to the light. And so without the sun, we cannot see anything. So the goal is to become enlightened. The spiritual master opens the eyes with the torch of knowledge. And it's, the Srimad Bhagavatam we're reciting it today is also the torch of knowledge. We see the picture, there's a picture in the first canto of Vyasadeva holding up the Bhagavatam. In the age of Kali, it's shedding light. All the darkness of Kali is dissipated, by the Bhagavatam. So this is a gift Srila Prabhupada has given us, coming with the Srimad Bhagavatam cases and cases. How many? 200 sets, 600 books, Srimad Bhagavatam, on board the Jaladuta. And just what did he have? His personal possessions, just very meager. Just a suitcase with some clothing, one or two changes of clothes, and some maybe some kind of granola or some kind of cereal. And but he really brought the books, undergoing so much hardship. So this is the mercy of the acharyas, how they come just to give us paradukkha dukkhi. They just want to give the gift what they've been giving. And we see how Krishna reciprocated with Srila Prabhupada, gave him so much facility, all for his glorification. Seemingly, he made Srila Prabhupada struggle a little in the beginning. This is all for his future glorification, to show how devoted he is to his spiritual master, to Chant Mahaprabhu, and to give the mercy to the fallen souls. It's like Prahlad Maharaj said, Lord Nrsingadev offered him benediction. He says, I have no problems, difficulty in life, my Lord. I don't need any benediction. Because whenever I chant your holy names, he says, Mahamrita Magnachita, I merge into the ocean of ecstasy. My only concern is for the poor fallen souls in this world, how we can deliver them. So this is practically demonstrated by Srila Prabhupada. And so we have the fortune, we're so fortunate to be in the presence of one another. It says, Manushyanam sahasresu yatshri katata siddhaye. It's very, very rare to find a devotee of Krishna. But nowadays, now that this movement spread all over the world, there's hundreds and thousands of devotees. So, does this mean Krishna's words are not accurate? Because he said it's very, very rare. No, that's the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. He's giving Krishna prema to everybody. And it's being demonstrated and distributed now because of Srila Prabhupada's devotion. That's been distributed all over the world. So we can just imagine the how dear Srila Prabhupada is to the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he practically single-handedly came to spread this movement all over the planet. So he is glorified all over the three worlds. So it's, that's the prayer we chant every morning, right? His fame is spread all over the three worlds. So this is, in fact, he's glorified all over the three worlds. So our tapasya, as Brahma performed tapasya, our tapasya, because we're so fallen in this age of Kali, our tapasya has been made very easy. Prabhupada says, chant, dance, and develop your love for Krishna. It's a simply wonderful process. Kevala Anandakanda. But the application, it seems simple, but the application becomes difficult because of our material attachments. So, but the process is there. Chanting Hare Krishna mantra. This is our tapasya, as Lord Brahma performed his tapasya to become enlightened. Everybody has to perform tapasya. Anything, even a materialist, if you want to become successful in the material field, you have to go tapasya. So much, become a doctor, you got so much school you have to go to. Become a scientist or inventor, you have to, so many hours and hours of work and, dedication. So we're fortunate that we're not simply spinning our wheels, so to speak. The devotees actually, their tapasya is eternal. Krishna says, little endeavor on this path saves them from the greatest danger. It's eternal. Everything we're doing every day, it's recorded. And it keeps adding up, adding up, adding up. And one day we'll have that supreme benediction. Hopefully in this lifetime, we'll have enough credits that love for Krishna can become manifest within our hearts. So we chant 16 rounds. We follow the regulated principles. We always try to hear about Krishna 24/7. Krishna says, "Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru." There's always think of me. This is the goal, to always remember Krishna. And the chanting, we got the 9 processes of devotional service. And the foremost is hearing, chanting. That gives us a strength to go on and perform the other ones. Always keep the mind engaged somehow. Before Vyasadeva had come and wrote down the Vedas, it was Shruti. The Vedic knowledge usually isn't put down in writing. Usually just heard orally. That's another disqualification in Kali Yuga. Everything's reduced. Our memory has become so dwindled now. Before, hearing once from the bona fide teacher, and it would be in your heart forever. You'd never forget it. The memory was so sharp, never needed to be written down. So we have these shastras now for our fallen condition in the age of Kali. And every word, I remember there's one pastime with Srila Prabhupada's servant, Shrutakirti Prabhu. He was, he was a very good servant for Srila Prabhupada, but he wasn't very into the reading the books. Wonderful devotee, but Prabhupada gave him little encouragement. So he saw Prabhupada one time in his room, and Srila Prabhupada called him over. Prabhupada would read his books. Of course, these Prabhupada's books were not written by Srila Prabhupada. We know they're written by, Krishna himself dictating the books. Prabhupada simply like the scribe. So Prabhupada told Shrutakirti, he said, this one book, if you just read this one book, you become Krishna conscious. And then he said, actually, no, if you just read this one page, he will down the page, you can become Krishna conscious. He said, no, actually, you just read one sentence, you become Krishna conscious. And he finally got down and said, if you just read one word, you become Krishna conscious. So this is the power of the Shastras that's been given to us by Srila Prabhupada. So this is our tapasya, chanting Hare Krishna. And for us, it's great tapasya, chanting Hare Krishna. But if we chant every day, as Rupa Goswami says, sooner or later, a natural taste will awaken just like the jaundice patient. They take sugar, but it tastes bitter to them. So even though the holy names are so sweet, Krishna himself, still, due to offenses, we have no taste. So we keep chanting. That's why we vow when we take initiation, we vow to chant. Yes, I'll never stop chanting at least 16 hours. Prabhupada also said it was always minimum 16 hours, never maximum. So, and the natural relish will awaken gradually. Because the pure devotees, all they want to do is chant. For us, the means and the end are the same. We're chanting Hare Krishna, so we can chant Hare Krishna. So we chant Hare Krishna now. So, but the goal is to chant Hare Krishna in pure ecstasy, of course. So this is the goal. Everybody wants to be happy, isn't it? So I'll read one thing here from the Nectar Devotion. It's a nice passage describing what's in store for us when we actually can revive our love for Krishna. This is Nectar Devotion, chapter 17. It's ecstatic love. It's just the first paragraph. Also, it compares our hearts to, and the love to the sunshine. So here it is. By the process of executing regulated devotional service, one is actually elevated onto the transcendental stage beyond the material modes of nature. At that time, one's heart becomes illuminated like the sun. The sun is far above the planetary systems, and there is no possibility of it being covered by any kind of cloud. Similarly, when a devotee is purified like the sun, from his pure heart, there is the diffusion of ecstatic love, which is more glorious than the sunshine. Only at that time is attachment to Krishna perfect. Only at that time is attachment to Krishna perfect. Spontaneously, the devotee becomes eager to serve the Lord in his ecstatic love. At this stage, the devotee is on the platform of Uttama Arakari, perfect devotion. Such a devotee has no agitation from material affections and is interested only in the service of Radha and Krishna. So that's a wonderful process. It becomes what is it? Chaito Darpana Margin, right? Every day we're cleansing. To awaken this, to revive this love. And here Prabhupada says, it's one's heart becomes illuminated like the sun. Krishna becomes manifest. And it's there's a diffusion of ecstatic love, more glorious than the sunshine. And that's pure devotee, that's like 24/7. It's completely, his love is fully revived. And that's why it says, even in the greatest difficulty, he's not shaken. Because this love is there. They've perfected their life. Nothing can shake them. They're seeing Krishna. So many times people would ask Srila Prabhupada, are you seeing Krishna? I said, yes, I'm seeing Krishna. And feeling Krishna. This is when we say the Shikshastaka prayers, right? When will my eyes be decorated with love flowing tears of love flowing constantly while I chant your holy name? Right? When will my voice falter, all the hairs of my body stand erect in transcendental happiness? This is the goal. This is what we want. We don't want some flimsy sense gratification pleasure. This a nice verse by Lord Rishabhadev, famous verse. He tells his 100 sons, Nayam deho deha bhajam niroke kastan kamam aharte bhujamye. Tapo dimbyan putraka yena sattvam sudye yasman brahmasokyam tvanantam. Lord Rishabhade told his sons, my dear boys, all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded the human form, should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for the dogs and hogs that eat stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal, blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and continues forever. So this is what we're striving for every day when we're doing our daily routine, whatever it may be. We're always trying to remember Krishna in one way or another, and our goal is to awaken this love, which is the perfection. That's why we're here. That's why the whole material was created, as it said in purport, for us finally to come and to revive our love and get out of this horrible place. Dukkali Amashasvatam, Krishna says, this place is full of temporary and misery. One who's born, they have to die. So this is our this is the goal. We have to always keep the goal in mind. And by how do we keep enlivened in devotional service? Anyone can give me their realization how can we keep enlivened in devotional service?
Listen to class from you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We can keep alive the service by listening to the class from you, Tejaprakash.
Oh, yes, by hearing, yeah. By hearing, and especially by hearing from the topmost Paramahamsa devotee, Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, and we're here to enliven each other, but we're here to guide everybody to come and to hear from Srila Prabhupada. If you're very, very sick, which we are, we're very, very sick. So we want to hear. We want to take the most powerful medicine, right, from the most powerful source. And of course, we know that's hearing direct from Srila Prabhupada. His words, they're direct from Goloka. And as much as we can follow in his divine footsteps, we can also help to enliven our God brothers and God sisters. Thank you for your input. So yeah, this is the process. By hearing, we become more and more enlivened in devotional service. We could be having a bad day, because Maya's there to try and dissuade us. She's testing us. She's a devotee, of course. She's a great devotee of the Lord also. But her job, she has a thankless task to make sure we actually want Krishna Prema. We've come from millions and millions of births to come to this point. It's not like we just came, we were just born, just, whatever it is, 40, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. And with maybe one or two births. No, we've been here repeatedly, millions of births. This is the Shastra. This is the Vedic conclusion. We have to accept it. We've been here for millions of births to come to this point. So, so if we become a little clouded over, the goal there, we have so much facility. We have the books. We open up and we hear from Prabhupada, or we put on how many thousands of, we have audio lectures. We have Hare Krishna mantra playing from Srila Prabhupada. We have so many bhajans. Always have these on. Always inundate your soul, yourself, with this divine vibration. This is how we'll always feel inspired, and it'll help get us through the difficult times. Let's see what else in the report here. We have kind of losing track of the time, dear Govinda Prabhu. How much we have time? More time?
Yeah, generally class and discussion goes till about 9:30, and then the part goes till about 9 o'clock or 5 minutes before 9. So
Okay.
yeah, that's typical.
Okay, so can Breaker, anyone have anything they'd like to add or comments, questions, or?
Following on what Ladini Shakti shared, I'm enlivened by what you spoke, Tejaprakash Prabhu. Yeah, I really liked how you said we chant to chant. The purpose in Bhakti Yoga that the journey is the goal, and I like how you said that. The purpose of chanting is chanting. The purpose of chanting is then we get enlivened to chant more.
Right. Yeah, like we know Namacharya Haridas Thakur, he never practically put down his beads. It wasn't austerity. He didn't want to put them down. The devotee doesn't, what they say, Rupa Goswami, right? I'd like to have millions of ears, right? Millions of tongues to chant the holy name. But Mahaprabhu instructs us, Krishna's name, Nam Namakari Bahadan, Nidja Sharva Shaktis, all the potencies are there in Krishna's unlimited names. But unfortunately, I have no attraction. Why? Because we commit offenses while chanting. So the goal is to become offenseless in our chanting. And then how we do this? By just following the routine. Chanting our rounds, avoiding the 10 offenses, and being very careful how we deal with one another, because we're all devotees, so we don't want to offend devotees in any way. Always be cautious and take the association of one another, and the path can be clear. And we shouldn't be discouraged, because Mahaprabhu is, Srila Prabhupada is, their Patita Pavana. Patita Pavana means, who knows what that means? Anybody know what that means?
Yes, it means the deliverer of the conditioned soul.
Right, but yeah, the most fallen. Yeah, deliverer of the most fallen. So Prabhupada says, the more fallen you are, the greater your claim. So you can't say, I'm so fallen, I'll never become Krishna conscious. No, the more fallen you are, the greater your claim to become Krishna conscious. So Srila Prabhupada gives a nice talk. One time he's talking about that song, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kora More, that I think it's Narottam Das, possibly. He's saying, Lord Chaitanya, please give me your mercy. And then Prabhupada refers to Lord Chaitanya speaking. Lord Chaitanya says, who are you? You want my mercy? Who do you think you are? You can have my mercy. My mercy is not for you. But then the next sloka is, yes, I'm very fallen. You're correct, Mahaprabhu. But you've descended just to save fallen souls like me. That's why you've come. So that was his claim. It's the more fallen you are, the more you can become Krishna conscious. So there's no excuse. So we just have to keep praying like that. And Krishna tells Arjuna, Apichet Sudarachara. I was just reading the Harigriva Prabhu's, maybe it's Hare Krishna Explosion or Vrindavan Days. He's a very wonderful writer. He has a nice intimate association with Srila Prabhupada. He was, I guess he was in Vrindavan. Harigriva went to see him in Vrindavan, and Harigriva had been having problems with following the regulated principles. So it's a real nice exchange. I think this is in the Vrindavan Days book. And actually, they're online. You can download these for free. One's the Hare Krishna Explosion, one's Vrindavan Days. But he goes to Radha Damodar, where Srila Prabhupada is staying, and he comes in, he falls down at Prabhupada's feet, and I guess Srila Prabhupada had known he was having difficulties. So then Prabhupada has a really wonderful exchange. I don't remember the whole exchange, but the essence was he quoted this verse, Api ched sudarachonyo, bhajate namananya bhava. Sadho eva samantavya. That Krishna says, even if one commits the most abominable act, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is considered saintly. And Krishna is very strong in this. He's very emphatic. Don't ever consider one who's engaged in devotional service to be in a fallen state, even if they temporarily seem to do some abominable action. And then the next verse, Krishna says, he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. He becomes perfect. So this is a process. Krishna knows our situation here, how conditioned we've been for millions and millions of births. It's not easy to shake off the material energy and our conditioning. So it takes time, but you can do it. In this one life, we can all do that. Now that we've come to Krishna consciousness, it can be a one life process. Once you meet Paramahamsa like Srila Prabhupada, it's just, there's no waiting for another life. Actually, Prabhupada instructs everybody, don't wait for another life. You can hear him in some of his lectures. He's saying, finish your business in this life. Another life, Maya is strong. We know it's so wonderful, this process. We're engaged. Even you come for one day and you chant Hare Krishna. Next life, you're guaranteed a human body. And so for devotees, practicing devotees, we could fall away. Yeah, our next life, we're guaranteed to go to the heavens or to take birth in a nice Vaishnava family. But Maya's not going to be gone. She's there also trying to misguide us. Next birth, you got to start, again, go through childhood, all these things. And there's all kinds of distractions. You could be born in a rich family, and then, we see what happens with wealthy people. They become distracted. So Prabhupada said, don't wait to finish your business in this life. And so he's, just by him saying that, he's empowered us all to finish our business in this life. What he says can be fulfilled. This is the wonderful Shakti of the pure devotee. Anything he says, Krishna is looking to fulfill that for him. And so when he says we can become perfect in this life, we can revive our love for Krishna, we simply have to have the faith in his words, and it can happen. And again, everything boils down to hearing and chanting. That faith comes from the association of devotees, and specifically associating with Srila Prabhupada through all the wonderful Vani that he's given us. So Um, any other, anyone else like to chime in with any other realizations they're having?
So I appreciate I like how you said that there's no excuse, because sometimes in our discussions, we get into like, well, I feel so shameful, I'm embarrassed, I'm so fallen, I'm not sincere, and did it like that. And then there's a tendency, we often have these discussions in our Sangha, there's a tendency where then we make that an excuse to hide under the covers, to not practice sadhana, to like, you know, it's a sort of artificial humility. And instead of the mood of Narottam Das Thakur and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koramore, in the mood of the song you quoted, where it's like, yeah, to honestly, humbly acknowledge what a shameful wretch I've become and how fallen. And then we can see for Narottam Das Thakur that becomes a source of enthusiasm, that, yeah, that actually makes me most qualified to receive the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Srila Prabhupada. So I appreciate your there's no excuse emphasis. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Yes. Yeah, it's just everything's wonderful about Krishna consciousness. We have no excuses. We're there. Krishna's there, ready. Actually, it says what? Shrinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidakya Ksali Bhajani Bhagavati Sritatam. Krishna helps. Krishna's in the heart. He helps us when he hears, when he sees that we're trying to hear his message. Krishna is there from within. He's the one that's cleansing our heart. We're not cleansing it. He's cleansing it for us. And so he wants us to become Krishna conscious more than we want. We take one step, Krishna takes, so many more steps to help us, facilitate us. So, yeah, that's a wonderful thing. We think Krishna, Prabhupada says one nice verse on that, one nice talk Srila Prabhupada gives on that Trinvata verse. Prabhupada says, oh, Krishna says, oh, you're hearing about me. Thank you very much. And Krishna starts to help cleanse everything. So this is a Chaita Darpana Margin, awaken all auspiciousness in our heart, spreading the white lotus of good fortune by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Chaita Darpana Margin, Bhava Maha Davalyanam. We're extinguishing this fire of material existence. This whole gigantic universe, like we're saying, so many hundreds and thousands of miles, just this one universe. And this is one of the smaller universes. So by pure devotees, by Krishna's mercy, this can shrink to just like a little puddle left by the hoof print of a calf. And is it very hard to step over when the calf leaves a little hoof print? You see water in there? Is it very easy? It's not very difficult to step over that, is it? So Krishna shrinks his whole material universe. All these problems we're having, he shrinks it just like this, and they step over very easily. So this is all by the mercy of the pure devotees. We have to, we should be in awe and reverence of His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada, of what He's given us, and what He's accomplished, and what He is accomplishing day after day. He's delivering the whole world. That one prayer is so wonderful, lotus feet of our spiritual master, only way we can attain. Bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. And like we just read that verse about how the love will manifest in our heart like the sun, more glorious than the sunshine. This is it. From him, ecstatic prema emanates, from the pure devotee. I mean, I had the fortune of being in his presence, several times, and when I saw him, you could see this emanating from Srila Prabhupada was this aura of love, prema. I remember one time in Philadelphia, he was coming back from a morning walk, and the devotees were standing waiting to greet him. And he stepped out of his car coming from the walk, and the whole atmosphere just kind of became like, effulgent just from him stepping out. So this is the Shakti of the caliber of devotees following Mahaprabhu. And you shouldn't think there's some other better shelter. I mean, you cannot get such a fortune. He is the most accomplished preacher of Mahaprabhu. Look what he's done. There's a nice pastime I can give. And when he went, one time Prabhupada was coming to England to visit London Temple. And one devotee, Padmalochan Prabhu, was, this is on the memories tapes by Siddhanta, but he was coming, Padmalochan was reupholstering Prabhupada's Vyasasan. And so, right up to the last minute they were working on it. Finally, Srila Prabhupada arrived, and they had just finished it. So then Prabhupada came, gave us arrival address and greeting the devotees, and then went up to his room. And then shortly afterwards, someone called for Padmalochan. Prabhupada asked, who made this Vyasasan? Can you please call him up? So they went up, they called him, Srila Prabhupada wants to see you. And so Padmalochan went up to Prabhupada's room. And Prabhupada said, yes, this is wonderful. I really, he liked the Vyasasan. He was praising him for its service. And he said, I need you to make two more of these. But small, make a smaller size. Because every night for Sundar Arti, Lord Brahma and Narada Muni are coming to the Arti. So Prabhupada instructed him to make two Vyasasans for them. And I'm not sure, but they may still be there in the temple. So this is Prabhupada's caliber. That Narada Muni and Lord Brahma were wanted Srila Prabhupada's association. And we think Srila Prabhupada is joking, just trying to artificially praise himself. Oh yeah, Lord Brahma and Narada Muni are coming. Of course not. Srila Prabhupada's the most humble person of all. He didn't want no praise for himself. So this is his caliber, that the greatest demigods, the greatest gods in this universe are coming for Prabhupada's association. Who can be greater than Lord Brahma or Narada Muni? And there's other pastimes too, with Mother Jamuna, and Prabhupada was saying Narada Muni had come in New Vrindavan. So many times Narada Muni had come around when Srila Prabhupada was around. But, of course, we cannot see because we don't have the vision. But this is Prabhupada's caliber. So very unfortunate that some of, when you come close to Srila Prabhupada, because he's so humble, you might start thinking he's an ordinary person, especially Prabhupada's servant. Similarly, when you go and you're doing your deity worship and things, tendency to become familiar. So this is, we don't have to worry so much because Prabhupada's not personally present here, but those that sometime had his vapu were very close to him, become familiar, and it created great offenses. Anyway, this is a glimpse of the greatness of Srila Prabhupada, that these greatest of souls in this universe are coming for his darshan. His fame spread all over the three worlds. That's not a understatement. course, everyone knows all the higher beings are aware of Srila Prabhupada's accomplishments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hi, Prabhu.
I heard from your class, I really appreciated the when you were sharing about Prabhupada, advising, if we stay humble, just keep a humble position. Don't get puffed up. And if we keep a humble position, then things will work out easily. Things will go nicely. And if we get puffed up, then Maya is ready for that. And I really appreciate that. I'll take that with me because I'm trying to have a situation where I'm realizing I don't have much control over trying to buy a house, and I don't have much control at all. And so, wanting to surrender in just my position, and and hopefully things will go nicely.
Hi, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's because Maya's always telling us we're great. You're great, you're big, you're the best. But actually, it's the opposite. We're nothing. We're insignificant, and we're so tiny. It's so again, like you say, it's by constantly hearing and hearing of Krishna's greatness, like this Mahavishnu breathing, right? Is one breath. It's a whole life of Brahma, right? Like how we've been sitting here for this short class. How many breaths have we taken? So their lives of Brahma for Mahavishnu. He's just breathing, sleeping. Universes are coming and going, and we're within one breath of Mahavishnu. It's like inconceivable. And what to speak of, our such a tiny nature. But at the same time, we're so tiny, but still, Krishna is such a magnanimous. He takes each of his devotees. He treats them. Well, we've seen his pastimes with his pure devotees, how he treats them. He gives himself to them, right? Sudama Brahma is one story. Krishna, he just brought some little chipped rice to give to Krishna, useless rice. Krishna took it, he washed his feet, put him on his bed. So even though we're so tiny, Krishna is so wonderful. He reciprocates wonderfully with every one of us. So, anything else? Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Teja.
Hi, Prabhu.
Thank you so much for your class today. I appreciate the whole class. One thing that you brought up is one of the most enlivening aspects of this practice for me personally is chanting the Maha Mantra. And I wanted to hear from you a little bit of, you were speaking in regards to acquiring a taste for chanting the Maha Mantra. And it changes the consciousness from like have to like get to, and then not wanting to put it down because you feel so connected and enlivened by the process of chanting this mantra. And you express that there's a formula that can help an individual acquire that taste. And you were speaking about the offenses, and I'm just kind of wondering what's been your experience like throughout the years in practicing personally, and then connecting to other devotees where they didn't really have like this taste. They were still chanting, but didn't have that like really just this intense desire to chant, and then taking a look at the offenses and then applying themselves to that process, and then changing their whole paradigm of their experience with chanting to this get to and enthusiastic, and they can't put it down. Just wanted to hear, if you could share more about that, I would like to hear it.
Yeah, I think we're all experiencing, we all experience that, and it's a difficult stage to come to, that spontaneous love, and that's perfection of life. But we can get glimpses. Again, like I say, it's Krishna's with each one of us. Krishna's everywhere. He's in our heart. He's all pervading. He sees our individual struggles, and he sees our sincerity. And I remember Srila Prabhupada always says, become sincere and serious. And so this is what we should pray for. It's become sincere and serious. And he says, well, I don't have that desire to be sincere and serious. So pray for that desire to become sincere and serious. So this is, again, we can stay enlivened. It comes back to the same thing. When we chant, like I heard a lecture the other day, Prabhu was saying, don't just chant, chant real quickly. He says, you chant from the heart. He says, chant from the heart with love. Like Krishna says, what's he say? If one offers me with love and devotion, a leaf, flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. He don't need our offerings. Krishna don't need he needs our love. He don't need our love, but he wants our love. So it's not mechanical. We have to try to, whatever we do, Krishna wants the bhakti, the love. Same when we're chanting. We can try and chant from the heart. Like Prabhupada says, it's like the child crying for mother. It's like genuine crying for the child, by the child for the mother, Hara. Mother Hara, please engage me in the service of Supreme Father Hari or Krishna. And the Lord reveals himself to such sincere devotee. So it's like we're crying for Krishna. So when we're chanting, again, it's the most beneficial time we know is in the morning, the Brahma Muhurta hour. To try and chant our 16 rounds in the morning hours. Try to go to bed in such a way you can get up, in the morning and have your rounds done by the time, the sun comes up or shortly after. And that's the most powerful time. I was listening to one memories tape just the other day. Prabhupada says the rounds in the afternoon aren't so good because I guess the modes of passion and stuff, it's harder to focus. So in the morning, there's not much going on. You got the power of the Brahma Muhurta, and you chant from your heart. Like like you're crying, like a child crying for the mother. And then this seems to help me personally, when I try and chant like that. You can put your hand on your heart, when you're chanting, so you remember you're chanting from the heart. Try to, Prabhupada says, you chant each name very distinctly. Try not to mumble the holy name, but chant, he says in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita, use your upper and lower lips, have your whole mouth engaged, and you're hearing the holy name to keep your mind focused. Because, the mind wanders, isn't it? You're chanting, all of a sudden say, well, I just lost that round. What happened to that round? It's like so you chant loudly, so you can hear it. Hare Krishna, the whole mantra clearly. Chant from your heart in a mood like your child, like when your child cries, you go running to it. So, and that's all. The taste. Again, it's not an overnight process. You don't become Krishna conscious in a week or a month, but it's a gradual process generally. Prabhupada says Krishna can reveal himself immediately. If you're so sincere and he's very pleased with you, he can reveal himself immediately. But for most of us, that's not the process. We have to go like the sun's coming up in the morning. It's coming up slowly, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. So this is the process. But and follow, again, we have to follow the regulated principles strictly. No illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, gambling. Because, I know dear Govinda preaches on this. This is a fact. You're pouring water on the fire. Light a nice fire, come and pour the water on it. So if we're not following the regulated principles strictly, or our progress, it's going to be slower. You have that. You dry that wood out, and how we dry that wood out, we're lighting a fire of bhakti in our heart. So we want to have the dry wood. We don't want to, if you're taking intoxication or not following the principles strictly, naturally you're not going to be enlivened in devotional service as much as you could be so much more enlivened if you're just following strictly, because this is it's a scientific process, and this is the science of it. Follow and then things just will gradually blossom. And again, any time in the day, try to always somehow be remembering Krishna. Or if you're serving Krishna, whatever your service is, if you're doing it for Krishna, even someone's working so hard. That's why he says you give so much of your income. If you're just absorbed in business and material world, and if you're giving your income to Krishna, we say I'm working for Krishna because he's getting a percentage of my income. Somehow or other, always try to have Krishna in your mind. Follow the principles strictly. Chant those rounds in the morning from the heart, and that's what seems to help me personally. But does that help?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate hearing about your personal process and what's been supportive for you. And yeah, I'm hearing being serious and sincere, connecting to your heart. When you're chanting, waking up early is really important, I'm hearing. Yeah, and there was something else. Oh, the 4 regulated principles. Yeah, hearing that's the drying process, and the chanting is the lighting the fire. So to get the fire to burn, then it's important that your wood is nice and dry. So I appreciate your sharing your experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, Krishna conscious. It's we're declaring war on Maya, so it is a struggle. The struggles will be there, but again, we can't become discouraged. Just like a child. I remember Mother Malati in the early days. She's on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada's asking, "Oh, so you're all chanting your rounds?" And Malati says, "Sometimes we can't finish." He says, "No, you have to finish." He says, "Just like you have to do this. You have to do your rounds." He says, "And you pray." He says, "It's like a child. When the child's first learning to walk, right? He doesn't get up and all of a sudden just walk. It's a process. It takes some time, right? He gets up, he stumbles, he falls, right? And he gets up again, but he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop trying to walk, isn't it? So he's always getting up and trying to walk, trying to become perfect at walking. So Prabhupada said devotional service is like that. We get up, we take the devotional service, we stumble, we fall. We pick ourselves back up. That's the thing. You pick yourself back up and you try to walk again. You fall again. You pick yourself back up and you walk again. Sooner or later, Krishna comes with his hand and says, "Yes, come, and I'll take you." And Krishna makes it easy. There's a real wonderful passage in the Bhagavatam. Let me find it real quick. Can read it real quick. It's in the first canto. See if I can find it. He says, it's in the chapter Divinity and Divine Service. That might take me a while to find it, but it's in, he says, to become restless, material energy, he said it takes time because we've been in this material world for so long, so many lifetimes. It takes time to recover. And he says, so don't become discouraged. And he says, but when you finally come and you prove to Krishna, and he says, then the whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord. So this is the one sentence that really sticks in my mind. It says, when Krishna steps in to help you, Krishna's always helping us, but at some point Krishna's going to say, okay, he's proven to me, she's proven to me that they really want this Krishna consciousness. They really want to come back to my abode. They want pure devotional service. Then Krishna comes, and then the whole process becomes as easy as anything by his divine grace. So I can find that passage and let you know where that was if you want at some point. So that's the thing. We're trying to prove to Krishna, and the holy name is it's so powerful. It's like you chant Vishnu Sahasranam, right? But you chant Lord Rama's name. What is it? One time, it's like chanting 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, Lord Rama's name. Then you chant Lord Krishna's name. It's like chanting Vishnu's names 3,000 times. The Maha Mantra is so powerful. And then there's Hare, Srimati Radharani's name mixed in there too. It's such a powerful, it's the most powerful mantra that there is. This is what we need. And this is what we've been empowered to chant by Srila Prabhupada. So this mantra, it's we can't underestimate. It's Lord Krishna himself, Srimati Rani, Lord Balaram themselves. So much Shakti is there. And so our success is assured. We just have to keep an association, keep reminding one another, keep the process going, keep the fire going. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Tejaprakash, Prabhu. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hari Bol, thank you all. Hari
Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Krishna.